They voted me out on Thanksgiving. Here's how I responded with $78,000 in proof. Thanksgiving that year started like all the others. I brought pumpkin pie, Mom's favorite. On the way to their house, I even stopped to pick up a bottle of red wine for Dad, and a small toy for my nephew. I had no idea I was driving straight into an ambush. When I walked through the door, I smiled. I hugged people. I laughed politely at recycled family jokes. But something felt off. There was this tension, thick like fog, and I just couldn't place it. Dinner came and went, and just as we were clearing plates, my sister clinked her glass. Everyone went quiet. That's when it happened. My brother stood up first, then my cousin, then my aunt, and in this odd, almost rehearsed chorus, they said, "We've talked about this as a family, and we've decided, you're no longer one of us." Silence. Then came the worst part, laughter, toasting, smug little smiles. I sat there, blinking. My hands were still on the table. I didn't cry. I didn't even flinch. I just reached into my bag, pulled out the folder I'd brought, and laid it down on the table. No one moved. I opened the folder slowly, almost ceremonially. The first page was a printout from my bank, dated 3 years ago. $2,400 wired to my sister for her emergency dental surgery. I turned the page. There was a Venmo screenshot. $1,800 sent to my brother for rent the month he lost his job. Next was a copy of my credit card statement, showing $7,200 charged for a family vacation to Disney World that I didn't even attend. Page after page, month after month, year after year, tuition payments for my cousin, therapy sessions for my niece, a down payment for my parents' new washer and dryer, Christmas gifts, birthday parties, groceries, medical bills. I had never kept track like this before. I never meant to. But one day, I started writing it all down, just to remind myself I wasn't crazy. The final number? $78,442. 17, and that didn't even include the emotional debt, the babysitting, the late-night phone calls, the emotional dumping, the being there every time someone needed something, and disappearing the moment I needed help. I flipped to the final page, a notarized letter, revoking me as their emergency contact, canceling my shared accounts, removing them from my will. Then I looked up and said quietly, "You decided I'm no longer part of the family? Okay, then we're done, officially." The room was silent. You could hear the hum of the refrigerator. A fork clinked against the plate somewhere in the kitchen. No one moved. No one laughed now. My mom's lips parted, but no words came out. My dad stared at the folder like it might burst into flames. My sister just blinked, her wine glass frozen midair. I stood up slowly. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just took a deep breath, picked up my bag, and said, "For years I let you treat me like an ATM with no feelings, a punching bag with a smile, a safety net you never thanked. I'm done being the only one showing up. I'm done being family just when it's convenient for you." I turned toward the door. My aunt called after me, "Wait, can't we talk about this?" But I didn't turn around, because for once in my life, I chose me. I walked out into the cold November air, and for the first time in decades, I felt light. Not angry, not bitter, free. The days after Thanksgiving were quiet, at first. Then came the text messages. They started with my mom. "Why are you doing this? You're breaking our hearts. Please don't do this." I didn't reply. The next day, a text from my sister. "You don't know what you're doing. This is going to destroy the family. You're being selfish." A voicemail from Dad. "This is ridiculous. We're family. You can't just cut us off like that." Then came the guilt trips, the desperation. "You don't want to leave us, do you? We've always been there for you. We can't do this without you." But I had already heard these words 100 times before. What they didn't understand was that the damage had already been done. The years of silent sacrifices, the emotional blackmail, the constant taking without giving, that was what had destroyed me, not walking away. I had spent so many years trying to be the person they wanted me to be, trying to be the family member who always said yes, always gave, always picked up the pieces when everything fell apart. But now I said no, and in that no, I found strength. I started therapy. I reconnected with old friends, those who never asked for anything, never took without giving. I laughed with them. I remembered what it felt like to simply live without constantly giving. For the first time in years I felt peace. I moved to a new place, a small apartment with a view of the city, something simple, something mine. No more guilt, no more manipulation. And the family? The messages didn't stop, but my resolve never wavered. One day, a message from my mom. "We miss you. We made a mistake. Can we fix this? And in that moment, I realized something. It wasn't about fixing them. It was about fixing me. I had spent so long living for everyone else that I had forgotten how to live for myself. And that was the final lesson I had to learn. Sometimes, the hardest thing you can do is let go of people you love. But it's also the only way you can find yourself again. So I blocked their numbers. All of them. I moved on. I built a new life. And every day, I remind myself that I am enough, just as I am. Because sometimes, walking away from the people who claim to love you is the only way to finally learn what love really feels like. Love for yourself. It's been a year since that Thanksgiving, a year of no guilt-laden phone calls, a year of peace. I still get the occasional message from one of them, a half-hearted apology buried under their desperation, but I've stopped responding. I used to think cutting them off would feel like a loss, that it would be this aching void, a hole in my heart that could never be filled. But the truth is, letting go of the toxic people in my life, people who used me, ignored me, and expected me to sacrifice everything, was the most freeing thing I could have ever done. And you know what? It's okay to admit that. Sometimes, the best way to heal is to stop pretending that people who hurt you deserve your love and your time. I'm not angry anymore. I don't hold grudges. I simply understand that family isn't about shared blood or the same last name. It's about respect. It's about mutual support. It's about choice. I've learned to set boundaries, to put myself first, to not apologize for my worth. I've learned that I am allowed to say no without feeling guilty. I am allowed to choose my peace over their drama. I'm building something for myself now. My own happiness, my own sense of belonging. And you know what? It feels better than anything I ever gave them. I wish I had learned this lesson sooner. But sometimes, the price of wisdom is pain, and I wouldn't trade the freedom I have now for anything. To anyone out there who's been made to feel like you're not enough, like you're just the person everyone uses until they don't need you anymore. You are enough. And sometimes, the best thing you can do for yourself is walk away. Because when you leave behind what weighs you down, you make room for everything that will lift you up. And that's where I am now. I'm free, and I'm not looking back.